Well, good morning, everybody. Thank you so much for showing interest and clicking yes on my invitation to our V4U Beachbody Coach Sneak Peek. Here's the thing with this week. First, this is the first time I have ever done one of these. So a little bit nervous, not quite sure what to do exactly, but I'm really committed to showing you exactly what being a Beachbody coach is, what I do as a coach, and just open it up to discussion. As you can see, I am sweaty, stinky mess right now, because that's who I am. I just got done working out. I prefer to do these type of videos right after I work out and take advantage of the little endorphin rush that I have going. So I could have went in, I could have showered, changed, put on a nice Beachbody polo and looked all cute. That's not me. That's not what this is about. I want to be totally open to you guys as far as what I do as a Beachbody coach. So part of that is most of the videos I do are probably going to be coming to you with a hat on and a sweaty t-shirt. I hope that's okay and doesn't freak you out too much. Here's the deal, guys. Beachbody coaching has changed my life. It is by far one of the best decisions I have ever made. And this week, it's not about recruiting. It's not about trying to get a whole bunch of people to be Beachbody coaches. It's about getting the right people on our team, the right people interested, the right people who feel inspired to pay their health and fitness journeys forward and help other people. That's what this is about. What I want to cover today is what I feel the number one misconception about myself and many other Beachbody coaches is that we're somehow, I don't know if I want to say perfect, but somehow above everyone else when it comes to health and fitness. And we are always eating our chicken breasts and salad, and we get every workout in, and we wake up every morning motivated, and we were always like this. And that's just not true. Some of you know my story, but a lot of you don't. And what I want to share with you today is where I came from, what I was before I found Beachbody coaching, and how that helped me come to where I am today. So without further ado, we're going to go behind the curtain, so to speak, with Beachbody coaching and my story. My story. Kind of feel like I should be laying down on a couch with a psychiatrist over here, but I'll make do here. My story as a kid. Let's begin there. I was, I had a great childhood, but as a boy, growing up, the skinny kid was a little tough. I was smaller, I was skinny, I wasn't as strong. That can have an effect on you, especially as a boy. And what I found is, particularly in sports, is if I was at home and I was playing basketball in our driveway with my brother, I was pretty good. I could go through the legs, I would make most of my shots, I beat him basically almost every time, and I was pretty good at home with my brother on my own space, being comfortable. But boy, you put me out on the basketball court with a team in front of a crowd, and I would clam up. My self-confidence would just go right away, and I wasn't any good, and it affected me. And as I went through sports as a boy, I got less and less playing time, particularly in basketball. And with that came even less self-confidence. And it went into other things. Talking to girls in high school became pretty tough. I was pretty shy, pretty quiet, didn't have a whole lot of confidence. Well, girls don't like to date guys without a lot of confidence, so I didn't date a ton. You tried to cover it up with humor, like most people do. I'd make jokes and tease myself a little bit, but deep down, that insecure, no self-confidence person was struggling. But I got through high school. I can't complain. It wasn't that awful of an experience by any means. Went away to college at University of Wisconsin Green Bay. And what I decided to do there was, no one really knew me. I could be whoever I wanted to be. So I, on the outside, was a confident, strong, secure man. I did the things that college guys do as macho guys, right? Even though really inside, those insecurities were still pretty large. But it kind of worked for me. It gave me a sense of, I don't know if pride's the right word, but it did its job and got me through college. To kind of fast forward ahead, I get a job as a mortgage broker in the late 90s, early 2000s, which transferred into a job at a local bank here. Well, if you know anything about the mortgage industry in the late 90s through those early 2000s, it was a pretty good gig. It paid well. I got to do a lot of fun things with the companies I worked for. But what I started to become was a person with just whacked out priorities. My priorities were, how much money can I make and how many things can I buy and have so everybody knows how much money I have. And looking back on it, it's pretty sad, but it's who I was. I wanted to come across as the strong, confident, secure, successful guy. And if that meant buying a big expensive boat in the marina and driving a nice car and having a big house, that's what I wanted. The money would come in, the money would go out. But that's who I was. My priorities were out of whack. If you talk to people who are friends with me now, who were friends with me back then, they will tell you the same thing, that was the person that Eric was. And I know a lot of you didn't know that person. Some of you do, and you're still friends with me, so I appreciate you going on the ride with me. But that's who I was. And, looking at it with those priorities, life was pretty good, making good money, doing everything was going pretty fantastic from that point of view. But then 2008 happened. To put it bluntly, here's what happened in 2008. Boom. Knocked out. Wife tells me she wants to get divorced. Mortgage industry goes in the tank. Life's pretty bad. And what I decide to do is, going through that, I probably spend the better part of a month or two drinking, going to bars, trying to, do what single guys do. And one particular Saturday morning, I wake up just like this, passed out on my living room floor. Not 100% sure how I got there, but lying on my living room floor, staring up at the ceiling. And I sit there, and I think about my son Alex, who's 3.5 at the time. And I think about what my life's been and where my life is headed. And I say to myself, is this really who you want to be? Are you going to be the guy who goes to the bars, gets drunk, tries to pick up women, all the stupid kind of stuff that people like that do? Is this who you want to be? And I probably laid there for a good 20 minutes or so, collecting my thoughts. To be quite honest, tears running out of the side of my eyes. And I decide that that's not who I want to be. And what I did was I got myself up, and I remembered that I had this workout program down in the basement. These stupid, silly, at-home DVD workout. And it was called P90X. And I thought, I'm gonna go throw one of those in. And I chose plyometrics
P90X Plyo. And if anyone of you who are watching this has done P90X Plyo, it's hard when you're feeling healthy. When you're feeling hungover, it's particularly hard. And I won't give you any details, but let's just say I got through it. Then the next day comes, and I do another P90X workout. And the next week comes, and I do another workout. And I start to feel a little bit better. And then that turns into me eating cleaner.
And I keep working out, and I keep eating healthier. And I start feeling better about really kind of everything. I start seeing that things aren't always going to be this bad. And you know, that translates into being a better father for Alex. It translates into being a better son, a better brother, a better employee at the bank. Things start to be better. I start seeing that life can be better. And by being down and really as low as I hopefully will ever be, I have more appreciation for where I had built myself back up to. Then this really cool thing starts to happen. My friends, my family, people I know through the bank, they start going, wow, you're looking pretty good. What are you doing? And, you know, I say, well, this P90X thing, you know, that Tony Horton guy, it's pretty good. It's hard, but it's pretty good. And I tell them about it. And I'll never forget, I go to a Hudson Chamber of Commerce meeting, and I'm there as a banker, and I got my bank shirt on, and I'm there to talk about mortgages. And I walk out of there, and I think, no one asked me about loans and banking and mortgages. They all asked me what I was doing and where'd this come from. And I liked it, and I really enjoyed talking about it, and it got my emotions up and my energy up. And I thought, I like this health and fitness thing. I like talking to people about it. Then that turned into, hey, why don't you come over and do one with me? And I started to invite friends over, and they'd come and they'd do a P90X workout with me. I thought, boy, this is really cool. This is fun. And then one day I go on to probably order something from Beachbody. I don't really remember the details. And here's this thing about Beachbody coaching. We're doing this new thing. You can sign up as a coach. I think, what's that? What's a coach? What certification do I need? What do I have to do? And I click on it and I read it. And, well, yeah, I didn't need a certification. I needed basically to be a customer, and I needed to have a desire to help people, and I could make 25% on selling P90X and any other Beachbody program. And I thought, hey, that sounds pretty good. And I signed up, not really knowing what I was getting into. I signed up because I knew that feeling that I had of talking to people about what I was doing and sharing and having them come over for a workout, I knew I liked that feeling. And so I went for it. And that brings me to these last, 3 years or so of my Beachbody business and my life and what it has become. I continued to work at the bank, and I did this Beachbody thing kind of on the side, a little bit. And I met new people, and I helped people, and I helped people all over the country. And it kind of started to roll a little bit, and it just got better and better, and I got better, and I found this sense of purpose. And for me, this sense of, hey, Eric, this is why God put you here. This is what you're supposed to be doing. This is what you were meant to do with this life that you were given. And I just dove in. I got my trainer certification. That's not a requirement. I just got it because it felt like something I wanted to do. But I continued down this journey. And for me personally, I continued to grow as a person. And I knew I wasn't perfect. And I knew I had work to do. And I kept working. And I keep working now on myself. And then I met Sarah. And to be quite honest, Sarah wouldn't have talk for 5 minutes to the old Eric, but Sarah, when I met her, we became very good friends, which then, turned into what you guys know as our marriage now. And I never would have been able to attract such a phenomenal person like Sarah if it wasn't for the change that I made and that decision that I made to get up off the ground. And that's what coaching is, guys. I know every one of you has a backstory. And, for some of you it might be, hey, I lost 75 pounds losing a Beachbody program. And those are awesome. I love those. I can't get enough of before and after pictures of that stuff. But for a lot of you, it might be a story like mine. It might not really be all about this. It might be more about this and more about this. And, whatever your background is with Beachbody, I want to connect with people who feel inspired by their own story and by other people's stories, and who have a desire to pay that forward and to show other people that they can do it, to have the pride and the guts to share their story out in public, and to not just share all the good, but share the bad. Those are the kind of people I really want to connect with. And I know, because I spent the time to invite a whole bunch of you that are watching this right now, I know that there's a ton of people in this event group that have amazing stories and have such power to inspire and to really change the world that they live in. And that's what I want this to be about. So this week, nothing is off limits when it comes to Beachbody coaching. I just told you my story, laying on the ground, all that stuff, right? So if I'm willing to go there, I'm willing to go anywhere. So what I want you to do after you watch this video is I would like you to comment on this video with that number one burning question you have about Beachbody coaching, or what I do, or how it relates to coaching. That number one question, even if it's a super uncomfortable, I don't think you'll want to answer this question, ask it. And I want to answer it in public, not a private message you. I want to answer everything in public. Nothing is off limits. That's what I want this week to be about. I want it to be about inspiration. I want it to be about people connecting. I want it to be about you learning about this fantastic thing that I found called Beachbody coaching that I just want to pay forward and, have